No. What? Why are you shaking your...
Are you trying to be in the shot?
I'm trying to be in the picture. Hello.
Oh, you just made it run.
Oh, I did make it run. She didn't like me jumping up and down. Hi everybody. Welcome to Djuma Game Reserve this afternoon. My name is Mark. And Seb is with me on camera. Tara back in final control. This is our Djuma live drives coming to you from the Sabi Sand Game Reserve. And, well, beautiful afternoon. Hot, sunny. We're standing in something we haven't seen for a while. It's called shade, on account of this marula tree having its leaves, and we're getting nice thick shade. And perhaps the consolation of the heat in summer is the fact that the trees are all full of leaves and they give really good shade. There's a little bit of a breeze coming from the south, makes it nice and refreshing. Still warm. It's a summer afternoon. I guess we could call it summer already. Spring and summer. It's a sprummer afternoon. So what can I tell you? We're back, and for some of you who weren't with us this morning, we spent some quality time with some old elephant bulls, some real old gentlemen that were very, very nice to us. They were very placid, they were very calm. We spent some time with some giraffe near them, and there were some kudu bulls near them. But I suppose our highlight of the morning was the big elephant bull that had the broken left tusk. And the other highlight of the morning was, of course, finding Shavinzi. Now, of course, we're going to go and find her. Maybe what we'll do is go and see if she's still there and then take a drive and go back to her. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. We're still on the open area near camp. And I haven't really figured out what we're going to do. I think we need to get some sort of wind behind us. We'll see. Let's go see that Jackalberry where Shavinzi was. I'm sure a lot of people are very keen to see her, and I'm sure that it'll set the tone for the afternoon. If it's very hot and she's sleeping and she's there, Shivambalana might be there. He was there earlier, but nobody could find him again. He's being his usual shy self, little dove, hiding away. But not necessarily going to be very active, so there's a good chance we might not even find them. So maybe we'll do that first, and then from there we'll go and find some other things. There's, believe it or not, been a lot of change in 2 weeks. This is a time of year when change happens very rapidly, when trees and things are coming into flower and into leaf, and because they all do it together, there are things that might have happened in these 2 weeks, and it'll be interesting to go and see if we can find new growth, new flowers, new birds. Female kudu appears to be on her own, but I'm sure she's not. I'm sure she's with some others. So join us for our drive. Please send in questions at Djuma.com, and we can talk about upcoming events, upcoming things that we're going to be doing for you, and whatever you want to talk about, really. This is the sort of quintessential intercommunicative device, driving around the bush in Africa, in South Africa, yet still being able to speak to you and have interaction with you, answer questions. Where are we? Midweek? Yes, we are. I believe we are. Might even be a school with us this afternoon. I have a bit of a chest and head cold at the moment, so excuse my coughing and nasally voice, perhaps a little different to normal. Must have been a walk today. Some guests at the lodge, there's their footprints on the road. One very distinct print of the guide and his boots. And one very distinct set of prints that I'm sure I would be able to find the logo Nike or something in that print. Not boots, but sneakers type shoes with that very fancy pattern. Oh, there's a lizard buzzard just flown into that marula tree. We'll get it on the road down to, maybe we'll get it on the road down to the Bushbraai site. Lizard buzzards have a very distinctive way of flying into a tree, and that's why I think it's a lizard buzzard. Because they aim for sort of the lower half of the middle of the tree, and then they just shoot up to a branch higher up. So maybe we're going to start this afternoon. It's in, I think it just flew. There's a drongo. It was in this little marula. There it is. Yeah, I want to get to the front of it. Although now it's turning around. Ah. And it's probably going to fly. Single white bar on the tail. Okay, I'm going to hold off on the idea of lizard buzzard. I want my birders out there. Any of you are birders? Any of our Netherlands birders, British birders, American birders? Got that white bar on the tail, orange cere, orange legs. I'm not seeing the black throat stripe of the lizard buzzard, even though it did have that. Oh, you did. And it had that very distinctive flight pattern that only a lizard buzzard really has. And it's gone. Okay, actually, we need to do some viewer IDs of things this afternoon. We need to practice for our upcoming events. The checklist challenge. 6 weeks. Actually, it won't be 6 weeks. It'll probably only be about 5 weeks, so we can spend the last week analyzing things. And we're only going to start on the weekend. Going through the checklist of Juma, ticking off as many species as we can find, but only species that can be identified by you, the viewer. So we're each getting a day. I didn't do too much today. Seb and Tara in the next 2 days got a couple of days to practice, and then from I reckon probably Saturday we get going. Or maybe we should do 10 drives each. That makes 30 days. And then that'll give us a week and a half or so to analyze things and maybe do a sudden death playoff. So maybe we'll do, I don't know, what do you think? Seb, what do you think? Tara? We can't have it sort of the full time, because if we all end up having the same number, we need to do something. We need to do something for a day or two to be able to.
13 days is nice.
Yeah.
Months.
10 drives.
10 drives each.
Yeah, we do 10 drives each, and in those 10 drives, so that if we have a really bad rainy day, we can then, hey, that might be a good idea, because we're bound to maybe have a rainy day. So then what we can do is we won't count that drive, and you can then have the next drive.
Yeah.
That actually might be a much better idea. What we got on the radio? Let me see. Oh, we're going past the pump. Afternoon stations, anyone out? I think the lodge is only leaving at about 4 these days. We're going to have to start thinking about a temporary arrangement of only doing a 2.5 hour drive and leaving at 4 as well. Because if we get cut short this afternoon by our battery levels, another reason to start on Saturday, so we can all start on equal footing. So I hope everybody's been well. Thank you for the messages of welcome back. It's good to be back. No, it's a leopard. Well done, Seb. Wow. Termite mound. There's a leopard on a termite mound. Gee, Seb, that is pretty amazing spotting.
Well, I saw it was a great hiker. That's why I didn't say anything for like 2 or 3 seconds. And I'm like, it doesn't act like a great hiker.
I think that's Mom, maybe. Going back to her children. I think it might be Karula. Looks like it. That indifference to our presence is a good indicator that it's her. And of course she's heading in the direction of her children. These stories of leopards being nocturnal and predators not moving around in the heat of the day, you got to take a lot of that with a pinch of salt. You know how many times I have seen leopard on hot sunny days in the middle of the day. Interesting, there's a shoulder blade here. Got an animal walking around without a shoulder blade. No, only kidding. A long deceased animal. See if we can get to the western side of her so we can have her on cam while we're driving. Hello, pretty girl. They're heading onto the old track now, but she's crossing the old track, which means that we might lose her. I think she's going down into that drainage line. So there goes my chance of getting to the western side of her. For now, at least. This is when the opportunism of a predator like a leopard comes into full play, because she's pretty quiet when she's walking like this, and the time of the day means that there are not that many birds about, there's not that much activity, so there's not that much chance of birds giving off alarm calls, and things like duiker and steenbok and then even perhaps impala are going to be at their lowest guard. Their guards are going to be dropped. They're going to be least likely to be alert at this time of day. She's missing a termite mound in the distance, but I have no doubt that if there's another one in front of her, she'll climb it furtively and look around. She's sticking to fairly thick cover. That is important because she doesn't really want to walk in the open. She knows that the road, Fullerman's cut line, is just up there. She knows that she can go up to that road and walk along the road. But there she's exposed, she'll be seen. So I think she is on the hunt. I think that this is one of those moments where opportunism plays a huge role, in that she's walking through the bush. The very reason why she left the cubs in the first place was to go and hunt for them, herself and them. Branching off a little bit further from this road, well, I can't call it a road, this track, which means we might end up having to do a bit of off-road. Not the end of the world, it's just, it can be rather difficult terrain, this. Ms. McManaway and her class are going to join us. Thanks, Ms. Mac. Probably in a few minutes. Hello, Kimmy. You're back and you're okay. Thanks, Kimmy. Didn't know where you went to. I'm back. I'm okay also. Sort of. A little bit of flu, but dosed up with antihistamines and decongestions, and I'm sipping on an ice cold Red Bull at the moment. Don't know how good that is for me because it's got caffeine in it, but gee. Okay, we need to catch up with her. There is a termite mound up ahead, and there's a good chance she's going to climb it. Catch. And this gives us an opportunity to try and get the western side of her. Yes, she is. Let me see if we can just get there when she gets there. Hello, Marcia. Florida Marcia. Or Marcia. There was one, we do have a Marcia and we have a Marcia, who we were calling Marcia. She's seen something. Her head's gone down. She's holding her tail a little bit low. And she's not climbing to the top of the mountain. I think she's seen something. So anyways, Marcia wanted to know the bird that we saw earlier. It was a lizard buzzard. It is a small accipiter. Well, it's not the smallest. But it's a small bird of prey known as a lizard buzzard. Hello, pretty girl. Here you are in the shade. Yeah, it's a hot day, isn't it? She's calling cubs already and she's not even nearly there. They're still further, girl. They're right down near Zoe's road. Wow. Okay, so she's not really hunting right now. Now she's calling cubs. You've got a bit more walking to do, girl, before they're going to hear you calling. Who knows? Maybe she left them here and they wandered that far. Maybe they, during the day, have wandered back this way. And it always amazes me. I mean, let's face it, this cat knows her territory. She knows the territory like the back of her hand. She knows every tree. She knows all the inhabitants of her territory. Yet there are times when she will... Seb, we're going to have to squeeze under here. There are times when she'll leave the cubs. And sometimes we've noticed, even for up to... Oh, you want to come forward? Went to another termite mound to call. We just had to bend the antenna, so we lost picture. We can get under a tree. I'm so glad we decided to come this way, and I'm so glad Seb found her, because I don't know how long she's been apart from them. I don't know how long she left them. But it's always great to see after she's been away, and when she gets back to them, it's always great to see that reunion, even if it's only a couple of hours. But I was saying, it always amazes me how, they don't have a very loud voice, and she doesn't want to call too loud. She doesn't want to draw attention. So she's going to walk around and just giving this low, wow, wow. See if we can hear it again. This low call, and how she relocates them. That's the mystery. That's not the mystery, but that's just, it always is quite remarkable. Maybe we should have gone around that way. But she seems to be stopping in the shade of the termite mounds to call. Go away, fly. The saliva dripping from her mouth because it's hot. Did he station out? Okay, we're getting boxed in now. Fortunately, Philomena's cut line's only a few yards away, but I don't know if we'd see her from there. Little one's just up ahead, coming to we're not in a great place, but to see this reunion, but so I didn't even see who that was. Let's go quickly catch up with them. Oh, she's getting cross with him. I think it's little boy. Afternoon stations. Following Karula from Philemon's Dip, just north of Philemon's cut line, heading west towards Mampimpan. I think she's just found one Mampimpan, looking for the other one. The little one wants to rub and mom and wants to... It's now only that we see how small it's looking. I'm sure that's Shivambalana. I think Vinzi's bigger than him. Except that is her. She looked so grown up this morning, and now with her mother.
She could go maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going.
Then I wouldn't have that push in the way.
Who was that, Tara, from Miss Mac's class? Sorry, I was busy talking to Seb there. Okay, so a question from Miss Mac's class. How do we know it's Karula, and are there any identifying markings? Just give me a moment here, folks. I've got Karula and one Mampimpan just north of Philemon's cut line, about 200 meters east of the lock this morning. Yeah, firm. Copy. Miss Mac, asking how do we know it's Karula and what are her identifying features? Well, when you get to know individuals, you get to know characters. So for one thing, there's a certain character trait that she has. There's a way she walks, there's a way she carries herself. But that's not the only thing. The other thing is that she is a highly territorial leopard, as all leopards are really. They stick within their territories. Now you might find male leopards wandering further from their territories and wandering afield on what we would call a home range, but females don't necessarily do that much. We don't have, although we see so many different leopards here, this is right in the core of Karula's territory, and the chances of there being another female leopard here are very remote. The way she was walking, the way she held her tail, the way she was looking around, the way she was calling, there were so many different signals that, to me, said Karula. But yes, there are identifying features. You know, every single leopard, their spots are different. It's like zebra, like giraffe, like even lion have got different markings, even though one doesn't see the markings very well. And Karula's got a very particular marking on her forehead that we'll get to now. What are you looking at, little girl? Come jump on the car. She looked straight at me there. So she heard her mother calling and came running. If Karula will hold her head still, we'll get a look at her forehead, and her forehead has got a particular marking. It looks like the word wow, W-O-W. Big W, small O, big W. Stands for Woman of Wonder. In human terms. In Karula, it's just the wow factor. Karula, that's what's, because she has it. She just has that wow factor. Just giving her a little bit of a warning, saying I'm hot and bothered and tired. I don't need all this love and attention right now. Look this way, please. Karula. Thank you. Oh. You can just see the second. Where? Okay, little boy's coming. This is going to be great because he's also going to be come, little boy. Henry, come in. Yeah, I think you've gone past me. Yeah, firm. Oh, gee, boulder over. Oh, mommy, we love you. Now she can relax. You see, now I think she can. Okay, come in now, Henry. Now she can relax a little bit. She's got both her babies. Let me go forward a little bit so we can see her again. What he's doing is something that Induna used to do a lot. Bash her head with his butt. Now both Mampimpa now with Karula. And wow. That's what the one thing that I wanted to see being with her, and I'm glad we didn't decide to go and try and find Shavinzi from this morning. I'm glad we decided we'd just try and stay with her because they did move. Maybe she's going to take him to Treehouse Dam. Maybe she does have something to take them back to. I don't think so though. We'll have to see which direction she chooses. If she starts going back the way she came, then there's a good chance that she's taking them back to a kill that she might have made. But I don't see much haste. And she's now choosing a direction that's more heading towards Treehouse Dam than anything else. Aubrey, come in.
Afternoon.
How are you, Info? Good, thanks. Where's the little? Okay, no, I'm not copying. I'll call you later. Okay, Karula and Pimpa now heading on to Philemon's cut line. Looks like they might be going to Treehouse Dam. Okay, copy. Yeah, just me and Henry. Whoever gets here first. No problem. Oh, not the greatest angle, is it, Seb? Philemon's cut line. Fresh elephant cakes here, and that we're gone. No picture. Are we back? Are we back? Seems all it takes is to say we're gone. Well, she's heading back to the east. Maybe she is taking them somewhere other than the dam. Maybe now that she's found them, now she can walk on the road with impunity. It's easier, it's softer, it's quieter, she doesn't have to conceal herself so much. They're doing playing catch around the termite mound, these two.
Can I join?
Yeah, pull in them for.
Yeah, one on the...
Hello, Brent. Do leopards shed their fur like domestic cats do? Brent, any animal with hair sheds their hair. It's even a porcupine, because their hair is in essence modified into quills. And yes, perhaps not in the manner that domestic cats do, because domestic cats have been bred to have particularly long fur. But yes, as in any animal that has hair, I mean, even as humans that have body hair, we don't notice ourselves shedding it, but we do. And I mean, they don't molt in the way that domestic cats do them, but they do. Hair grows, it has a lifespan, it falls out, new hairs replace it. It's not like we're going to find leopard hairs on the furniture, but holy macaroni. Are you going through the Sahara Desert or what? French hard region. Got a guest on another vehicle that is completely covered up. I can't see a single piece of skin. Big mask on the face. Ephraim, come in. Yeah, come up to Spam Road. I'll give you a gap. I'm going to go past the Mighty because I think there's Ndlov there. I saw some in Konzo. So I'll leave the sighting now. You can come in. Okay, other vehicles are coming. I'm hoping that these guys are all going to move on with their guests in a while. Let's just go down to Treehouse Dam and we'll sit there and monitor things and see if that elephant did get to Treehouse. Leaving locker 3 Ingwe, Abel and Henry unlocked. Ephraim pulling in. Huh? Oh, there's a steenbok right here. Well, we can't leave. We can't stay here because Ephraim's coming. I've got Spene here. Of course, Shivinzi's got no idea how to stalk a steenbok. Did you get that on camera?
Yeah. Well, I got this steenbok running away.
Yeah. Oh, she just kind of walked up to it, and what did she expect? The steenbok was going to stay there. Henry, come in. Please let me know when you're pulling out. What a way to start a day. For those of you waking up to Africa in your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, your office. Mama Leopard and her 2 children. What a way to start our leave cycle, 6-week work cycle. We don't need to see anything now. We can just look at flowers and trees. Miss Mac, how's the class doing? Any questions from our grade schoolers? Now, if you hadn't seen that, nobody would have seen those leopard at all today.
So you owe me a drink tonight.
I owe you a drink tonight. Tonight. Okay.
I'm glad I just didn't think, oh, it's okay, it's a great hiker. Let's carry on.
Yeah, I'm glad also. Heron hasn't really moved much. Heron and a hammerkop. And a blacksmith lapwing. 3 birds in one little spot. A couple of Egyptian geese on the other side. These birds are going to get a little bit of a wake-up call soon when these cats get close by. And unfortunately, I'm sure these guys are going to probably stay with her until she gets to the water, so we might not get to see them drink. There's no elephant here. There was a hippo here earlier today. Oh, my corp's very busy. Several oxpeckers have been drinking. That means there might be something in the vicinity. I'm seeing, I think, impala up ahead. Let me just confirm that. Yep, a small group of impala. A pair of nostrils just appeared above the water. That means hippo's sleeping. The head just comes up every time he needs a breather. don't know if you see those vehicles approaching. You're going to have to move. You see, there have to be rules about the number of vehicles and how. Back again, but choppy. Back again. No, I'm not doing anything yet. So I think it's a signal loss, packet loss. There's something here in the shallows of this water that's making bubbles. It can't be the hippo, because it's way too shallow there for a hippo to remain concealed. No, she's not coming to the dam, so we're not going to miss her. I think she might be taking them back to a kill, because she's gone much further east and she's actually heading towards the old hyena den. So we're not going to miss them drinking. But I'm going to keep tabs on the radio, work and see. Because now there's no chance I'm going to see there are other vehicles that are coming to view her and the cubs. So we're going to carry on. Let's go and see what Twin Dams looks like this time of the year. Hello boys. Yeah, that's a big elephant. Oh, that's a big ellie. Okay, I don't know how we're going to see them from here. Maybe if I can just get the nose in here. No, I hope it's not going to push that big maroon tree. Yeah. That one there? Yeah, he's massive. I hope we can just get a... That's about as far as we can go. Black screen again. Okay, I can't hear Tara. This is...
What channel Tara talks to you? 1?
Yeah.
Tara go 4? Do you have a picture?
I know this bull. Got a broken left tusk and a phenomenal right tusk. I don't know if these are the bulls from this morning.
Tara,
She's calling you on 1.
Yeah, Tara, do you copy me? Do you have a picture?
He's gonna push that tree. Or maybe he's just resting against it.
Okay, we're trying on the north of the trail is almost I can be outside Leopard side. Because baboons was
He wants a big branch. Come, stand up on your back legs, dude. You'll be able to reach it. Like I do in Zimbabwe. With the Anna trees. Now, evidently baboons, the Gari gang, have just chased Karula and the children. They're now down near Twin Dams Road already. Maybe she's taking them back to the drainage line. Maybe she's got a kill there. If she didn't have a kill, she would have probably just stayed where she was and maybe moved on from there. But the fact that she's gone back in the direction that she came in is a fair indicator. This is a big man, this elephant. I think his left tusk would have been longer than the right, just judging by its thickness. But if he can only turn so we can see it, it looks like he's got a broken left tusk. I think there are more elephant.
Yeah, I'm sure they're also breaking that side.
Yeah. Come on, man, turn around for me, please.
Yeah, she's north of the Dongas, still bumbering northeast direction. I'm on the northern side of the Dongas. They're making way.
I think there was a question that was coming through, but then Tara, I'm afraid, just a little bit too much static. Couldn't quite hear you. I think it's just where we are, this edge of Elephant Skull. The hissing on the radio is louder than you, so I can't hear what you're saying, I'm afraid. Try channel 4. Let's see, maybe it's clearer on channel 4. No different, still just hissing. Going back to 1. The elephant's got to turn around at some point. That sounded like a big tree that just went. I have to just get out of the car quickly. I've seen something I want to get. I don't think he'll see me or hear me. Cricket. Cricket ball. The Gari gang been playing cricket against. No, this is something Alan. I don't know, Alan, if you're watching, let us know. Alan's been asking. Now this is a very old fruit. It's dried. You can actually buy these in decor shops. This is the fruit of a tree we were talking about this morning. This is the tree right here next to me. Well, it's hardly a tree, but this little shrub called a monkey orange. And Alan has been asking us to find him a monkey orange for months now. And when we did, he wasn't on camera, he wasn't watching. You can hear this is very dry. And what sometimes happens is when these fruits are still green, people carve different shapes into them, so that when they dry you get different textures and patterns. And you can buy sort of like 10 or 12 of them and put them in a bowl as a table ornament. This one is just got a few teeth marks on it. Animals have been carving. But it's hollow, mostly. It's dried up. Don't really want to break it open just yet. So I'll keep it in the dashboard until Alan wants to see a monkey orange. Chewing on some pretty hefty branches there, this boy. Getting the bark off of them. I do know him. I have seen him before. I know that earmark, that tear. I know that tusk configuration. I think the last time we saw him was on an open area near camp, one we call quarantine. One can only wonder where an elephant goes in the months in between the time that we see them. Sometimes they can roam hundreds of kilometers into the park and back again. And other big boys kind of getting mobile now. We should maybe go to Twin Dams and see. There could be a bunch of these ellies, and some of them might be as far. Let me just check first before we leave. Henry.
I didn't forget anything yet.
Putting his foot on it to try and pull that branch off so that he can chew the bark off of it. This might be interesting to see how he tugs at this particular branch to break it off. It's not attached to a tree anymore, so he doesn't have the leverage as when it's on a tree. So he's trying to use his foot to break things. And a tusk. There we go. Never fails. And I'd say the size of those branches that he's putting into the mouth are probably the size of the thickness of the mid section of a baseball bat. Maybe even the thickness of a baseball bat. It's a little deceiving with such a big elephant. They look fairly thin, those branches, but he's a big elephant, and that tusk of his is huge. That left stub of a tusk, easily about the thickness of my thigh. I don't have very thick thighs. I have a thick midsection, but not a very thick thigh.
I'm trying to go around.
Henry, come in. I think let's go to Twin Dams. He's not going very far or fast. And it's looking like that sometime today he might have been at Treehouse Dam. The tracks that I saw when we were with the Leopard were coming across Philemon's cut line heading towards Treehouse Dam. But that doesn't mean that they won't go to water again, especially a hot day like this. And we did hear more elephants further on. And then I saw one walking quite swiftly. And hopefully we'll... Oh, maybe they're there already. I see one now. To our right. Train station's leaving my Dodden 12 on Elephant Skull, open lock. Might be a bit premature going to the dam now because there's still one here. Oh, we'll come back this way if not. Yeah, I'm starting to hear you now. No, not getting, breaking up now. Somebody's on board. No. Why all of a sudden? Maybe the heat, I don't know. Even this radio is not working. Oh, banded mongoose. I doubt whether we're going to get to see them. They're so shy. We see the smaller cousins so often, the dwarf mongoose. We very seldom get to see banded. I think they've all gone down into the riverbed from here. Crystal clear, 5 out of 5. There's banded mongoose, one of them. Our last station, go again, please. Copy, thanks. Alan is on board. Hello, Alan. Found your monkey orange, but it's dried up. What do you want me to do with it? Ginny in Virginia. Hello, Ginny. As I say, the banded mongoose, for some reason, in this part of the world, are exceptionally shy. Come on. It's not even a slope. Oh. Dwarf boobean starting to get flowers. Can't really see them. Let's just stop here a second. Evram, they got nyama. In the meaty or on the ground?
Up in the smoke berry.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, well, there we go. That's the seed pod from last year. And there are little patches of red coming out on this dwarf boerbean. Dr. Rita was saying earlier about trees, flowers and birds. You see, those little buds are going to open up into these beautiful little crimson flowers with very, very small petals. Okay, off we go. So they got a very small bushbuck in a tree. That's where she was taking them to. Evidently in a big milkberry. We don't see too many milkberry trees. Beautiful trees, but evidently not a great visual. We'll go to Twin Dams and then we'll go and see if we can see them. We had a baby bushbuck kill. We're not going to see them through very well, very far. And Ephraim was saying a very small bushbuck, probably a newborn. Something that we have to prepare ourselves for in the coming months, with the baby impala coming out, the lambs being born soon. We're going to see a number of young impala being caught and eaten. About the what? Oh, right. Gosh, this shows. I'm sorry, Jenny. I was in the middle of answering. My lost cop mind. Why does it have the name monkey orange? And if it's got strychnine in it, which it does have, is it the monkey is able to eat it? Jenny, I'm not really sure why they call it a monkey orange. It's not citrus family. It is not related to, nothing like a citrus fruit. Monkeys do eat it though. The thing is that the fruit, the pulp of this fruit, of course there's no pulp in this one, but once they can get through the very hard outer shell, the pulp is very sweet and very palatable. The seeds, however, you can't bite into the seeds. It's the seeds that contain the strychnine. Hello, hornbill. No sign of pachyderms here yet. I'm sure they're coming this way. Hello, Deb, in Connecticut. Deb. Dung beetle question. Certain times of the year they're here, or well, I guess the question is, where are they? What time of the year? What's the story? The story is, dung beetles are here in the wet season, as are most insects. At the moment, there are only a few hardy insects out. I was starting to see a lot of millipedes recently, after this recent rain that we had. That was back home and even on the road coming back into the reserve yesterday. Haven't seen any millipedes nor tracks of millipedes having been here. Drag marks. Hyena drag marks. Hyena were dragging something here. Looks like I might have dragged it the other way. So dung beetles will be emerging in a couple of months' time as adults. There are no adult dung beetles at the moment. There are a few scarabs, subfamily of the scarabs, the Scarabinae, that are flying around at the moment. They're not typical dung beetles that we know of, in terms of they don't really roll balls. They do feed on dung and they do burrow into dung heaps, but they're not really the dung beetles that we know of. Hello, Hamakop. Hamakop, thickneys, I mean. Egyptian geese. Let's see who else there is around the dam. Water's getting a little low. There's a monitor lizard. I don't know if you can see it yet, Seb. If you come from that goose on the dam wall, come down and go forward a little bit, go east a little bit. About 2 feet away from the water, lying in those grasses, in the sedge grasses, is a water or Nile monitor. Varanus. Sunning itself. Dung beetles, they're very much like most of the insects that need moisture and humidity. Can't really work too well here in the dry season, because just a grain of dust in between, say, their head and their thorax or under the wing, can scratch a membrane and kill them so easily. So one of the reasons why we see dung in its complete form lying around now, both buffalo and elephant and rhino dung, we're seeing the boluses, or we're seeing the big heaps of dung. And as soon as we start seeing dung that is spread out when it's fresh, then we know there are dung beetles around. Now that normally takes a very big thunderstorm and heavy rains to soften up these underground chambers where they are, not only the chambers where some of the dung beetles have their larvae and their young, or the emerging new generation, but the big balls that some of the big dung beetles make that can be, they're huge. They can be as big as, well, twice the size of a tennis ball, really, about the size of a grapefruit even. And they got a very hard outer layer, and then of course there's a very dry layer of dung inside of that, with the chamber inside that as a larva, the dung beetle would have been eating away at that dung, and then made a cavity or a chamber in which it would pupate. So it needs a lot of rain and moisture to be able to soak through that, to break out of that chamber. I've actually found where honey badgers have unearthed, I guess you could say, old middens, digging for dung beetle larvae. I've found dung balls half broken and half exposed, where the honey badger broke into them, but it must have been a very, very dry year, because the adult dung beetles pupated and they emerged as beetles, but they never managed to break out of those balls. There wasn't enough rain to soften them so that they could actually escape as adults, so they died without ever seeing the light of day or fulfilling their function. I'm waiting with bated breath for the insects to emerge. I don't think this rain that we just had recently was big enough, heavy enough, consistent enough. Okay, Ellie questions. Mary Jane in Florida. Let me answer you while we're driving off from the Hamakop and the monitor lizard and the Egyptian geese. And this here, Twin Dams. And I have Lynn in Canada with us, but Lynn, if you want to get an idea of the height of the dam and the water level. Mary Jane was asking, why did that elephant keep his back to us? Was it either because he felt we were not a threat to him, or that he just didn't care? Well, it's a little bit of both. But I think it's more a case of he was so engrossed in what he was eating. He was so engrossed in tearing up that tree and getting to the branches. We arrived there with his back to us. He didn't really care whether we were there or not. Excuse me. And he didn't need to turn around. I thought he would, because I thought he'd be finished feeding on whatever it was he was feeding on. But obviously he didn't. So, just to come to the top end of Twin Dams for now quickly. Place that was underwater not too long ago. The shrinking level of the water of Twin Dams. Now, actually what I can do, since there's nobody here in the way of elephants, crocodiles, hippos, different elephant. Look at that big hole in his left ear. Don't know him. I don't recognize that big hole.
That's what I'm hearing. A bit of turtles there.
Oh yeah.
Cute.
Oh there, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I haven't seen one in a while. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one for a while.
I saw quite a few at home.
Yeah.
I suppose it was after the rain. There's a tortoise behind us. And evidently you've been lagging behind, and then all of a sudden you've jumped forward from where I was putting that stick in the water, so you've missed a little bit of what I've been talking about. I don't know why it's jumping forward like that if we're not the ones that are doing it. Because obviously you're missing out on things that I'm saying, because somebody else is stopping and restarting the stream somewhere. So we pretty much lost everything I've said between the dam and here, I think. Judith's question. All I can say is that if you didn't get an answer to your question, just let me know. That's the best thing I can do, rather than trying to think which questions they were. I think Judith. So it was Joanne's question about how old he is, and Judith's question about how many teeth. Can get so disconcerting sometimes. See, my brain doesn't always work the same way. When I answer a question the first time, my brain works in one way, and then to have to re-answer it because it wouldn't go through, I've got to try and think of things again. Joanne, it's very difficult to age elephants. It's very difficult to age most animals. I'm not too sure what it is with a lot of people, and I wouldn't say an obsession, but a need to know the ages of things. Once things become an adult, it's hard to gauge their age, other than looking at teeth and minor details. And we're not talking about tusks here, because to some degree tusks give an indication of age. But to a large extent, tusks are merely a product of the genes, whether they're very big or very small or non-existent. Excuse me. No visual now. So, a big elephant bull, like we were watching earlier, he didn't have very long tusks. He did have very, very thick tusks, and that might have something to do with age. In fact, tusk thickness has got a lot more to do with age than it does have to do with length of tusks. Where's that tortoise? Can you see it? Hit.
Maybe if you go in there, you can probably...
While we're waiting for these elephants to make an appearance here, I want to see if we can see this tortoise. First tortoise of the season for us here. I was saying to Seb, I have seen a few tortoises at home after the rain we had. A couple of tortoises on the road as well.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, I can just see it moving just a little bit behind, but this little guarri branch might be in the way.
Oh, oops.
It's going back out that way now.
I lost the cushion. I lost the cushion. I think I was sitting on it there though, so it can't be too far.
Over here?
Yeah.
Or on the other side?
No, over here. I think when we were filming the elephant just now.
Okay, let me just go and have a look quickly.
Sur ma chose. No?
Oh, here he comes.
Oh yeah.
Hello, tortoise.
Yeah, I think I got there.
Okay. I was just looking for a cushion from the back of the vehicle that we dropped. Can't really see the tortoise too well. Let's see if we can see this Ellie coming through. Right, so that was how old he was. Well, oh. Well, these are big boys. They're adult Ellies. The very big one, my guess, is in his 40s. This one looks like he's a pretty big bull as well. Mid-30s maybe. It's hard to tell. It's kind of hard to tell. Kind of links up with the question that I think it was Judith was asking about how many teeth they have. And that's where it's important to know how teeth Oh, he's turned around going away. Alright, we're gonna head back out again. Unless there's some way to get around here. He's going back up the other way. Now, elephants have teeth that are different to most animals, and because of that, it's not a straightforward question. You know, most animals you can say that have a, not you can say, but one identifies a lot of creatures just by their dental formula, especially when it comes to things that look the same. That is because almost every other animal has milk teeth, a set of milk teeth, and then a set of adult teeth. And as adults, that tooth configuration doesn't change at all. So as adults, we can say humans have got 32 teeth, and unless you've had a couple pulled or you've lost a couple, that's how many you're supposed to have. Did we come in on this little track? I think so.
We're on the elephant track, yeah, so yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, but I think we might have gone around, because I don't remember coming through this, unless we came in. So what we got to do is try and find our way out, because we've dropped something off the back. Hyenas will have a field day with it. Hang on, Tara, please. I don't think we came in here. Oh, we did, maybe. I don't know now. No, I think we did, actually. And then went around there. So because an elephant goes through many different sets of teeth in a lifetime, and we're talking about molar sets, the teeth that they have as permanent teeth as adults are their incisors, their tusks. And of course they only have 2 of those. They don't have lower incisors, they don't have canines. The molar sets on elephants, although they have 6 sets in a lifetime, it's not like they have 1 set and then they lose it and then another set comes out, because that wouldn't really work for them. They would have to stop feeding until such time as the new set of teeth are in place. So the way it works with, there it is, the way it works with elephant is that the teeth move like on a conveyor belt. From the back of the jaw they move forward. So sometimes you'll get an elephant, like especially elephants in their teens, 20s, maybe going to 30s, that they've got even 3 sets of teeth in play at any one time, which would make 12 teeth, and then the 2 molars, which would make, not molars, the incisors, which would make 14. So not really a straightforward answer to what seems like a straightforward question, I'm afraid. Bonnie, what was Bonnie asking? I'm just trying to remember all the questions that I've got lined up in my head. Oh, temperatures, numbers. Bonnie, hello Bonnie. How hot does it get during the day and how cold at night? Are we talking about this time of the year, Bonnie, or any time? Let's see, it would have to be a particular time of the year, and I guess maybe you're asking about this time of the year because, well, we have seasons like anywhere else on the planet, and this time of the year our day temperatures can reach 30 degrees. Nighttime temperatures can drop to probably about 18, 20, maybe a little colder. Very, very warm this time of year. Alright, we'll leave these elephants be. I think how much we can do about it. I seem to recall the last time I was here having this tree down across this pathway. Hello Lynn, glad you're with us, and you're welcome. We'll do all the other dams in the few days coming. Dams and pans and water holes. Are you starting now?
Yeah.
A couple of months ago we were sick and Dawn sent us a package with lozenges and things, and the little herb lozenges, they do help a little bit. Thanks Dawn. I came back from leave not being very good. Come down with something and it's sapping all my strength, and especially coughing. It's like a debilitating cough that the more I cough, the worse I feel. And that was Wendy. Hello Wendy. Query about the checklists. How do you get the checklists? Well, there's a new email address, Wendy. Don't know what happened to the old check mail address that we had, but Eugene has set up a new, it's even a Hotmail account, believe it or not. Hotmail. And if you send Eugene an email, he will email you the list, the checklist. We've given up on this idea of trying to sell it. Bad idea to begin with. So Eugene will send you a checklist. Okay. Evidently you can still request and purchase the actual booklet, but if you want to just be sent a copy of it on electronic format, not a hard copy, it is Checklist Juma, one word, Checklist Juma excuse me, at hotmail.co.za, not hotmail.com. It's the South African Hotmail, .co.za. So Checklist Juma at hotmail.co.za. Send Eugene a message there and he'll forward on a copy of the checklist to you. Saw an elephant there now. Hasn't moved much. Hi Alan. Can we cut the fruit open? Or is it dangerous to touch the strychnine? No, it's not dangerous. Strychnine is inside the seed. It's part of the seed. You've got to crush the seeds to make the powder. But there's not much point in opening this, Alan. It's hollow. There's nothing inside it. It's all dried up. You see, he hasn't moved, this big bull. He's still eating on the same branches as when we left him. So oh, that just hurts. I don't know. What is there a way that I can? Well, there might be some dried pulp in here with some seeds in it. What I need is a panga. Not the kind of panga you might find in Mexico. I think in Mexico, if I remember correctly, panga is actually a boat. But in Africa, a panga is the equivalent of a machete. I need something big and heavy, and there's never a rock when you need one. Aha! I'm armed.
So now we have a panga here.
Mm-hmm. Panga. Monkey orange. Do it on the ground where it's safe. Okay, a little bit more brittle than I thought. I've had to break these open where they're very, very tough. But it's completely dried up. You can see there's even a bit of fungus. The pulp is all gone. Here's a seed. And there's no cotyledon inside. This wasn't even a fertile fruit. It was probably an immature fruit when it fell off the tree. And these seeds are embedded in a very, very dense, pulpy mass that is the inside. It doesn't have individual segments like an orange. It's just one big pulpy mass, and I'd say that the texture is probably like an unripe pumpkin. But no, that makes it sound wrong, because that maybe implies that the seeds are buried right in the middle. But it's not. These seeds are embedded inside the flesh of the fruit. And if you cut a fresh one open, you tend to cut right through the seed. In which case you can't then taste the fruit. But as you can see, just breaking the seed shell, there's no cotyledon inside. So none of these seeds were fertile. There's your monkey orange, Alan. That's a dry one. We'll have to wait till the new season comes to see green ones. Now Seb knows there's a panga behind the seat. He's going to start doing some survival stuff for you. He's going to make you a shelter. He's going to build you a house. He'll even build a Flintstones car for you with a machete.
Thanks, Mark.
Bye bye, Elise. Still a little bit of daylight. Not a cloud in the sky though. Not going to be much color in the sunset. Bye boys. Sorry we couldn't see you better. Oh, these lozenges don't help very much. Maybe it's just me. Oops. Actually, I think there's an old track that goes in a little way there. But let's go and see if we can find this kill of theirs. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh. Hello, Mr. Groover. How are you doing in North Carolina? Roy's asking, what age are cubs independent, and when will Karula mate again? Well, Roy, what we've noticed with Karula's children is around about 2 years old is when they start becoming a little bit independent. Well, yeah, it even starts before them. It's not a specific day. There's no particular day where you can say, well, at this age it happens. Because they've already, in the last 6 months, they're 11 months old, but even in the last 6 months, they've been gearing up towards independence. They've been... It's a process that takes months and months and months. And there's never one set time and date and age that it happens. And it could have... I've heard of a leopard at 8 months old became independent. I can't remember why. Maybe it lost its parent. I can't really remember. Don't know. Nonetheless, it was fine from 8 months old. You see, with leopard are so much instinctive hunters that from a young age they're chasing small things, birds, insects, lizards, squirrels, mongoose. Their hunting instinct is honed from the time that they open their eyes. Not like cheetah that have to be taught. So cheetah have to get to a certain age before they can hunt for themselves. Leopard can pretty much do it from the time their eyes are open. They can chase something and catch it, even if it is just a grasshopper. But that hones their skills, and that makes them, or prepares them for independence. So there, you see a car in there. Quite far in, gee. A couple of vehicles in there. Must be where the cats are. We're going to have a look. Oh, nice big snake track. Just across the road. Now we want to get past that dead tree. A little bit further in. What we've seen with Karula is that as soon as her cubs are 2 years old, it's more or less when she mates again. It happened with her first set of cubs, excuse me, when they were, well, not even 2. It seems that the next set are born when her previous set are 2 years old. So I guess we could maybe expect, and this is a big maybe, that by next year, July, August, Karula might be ready to mate again.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, we come in. You with that English?
Yeah, that's the
Hey, well, Ephraim, can I pull in, please?
Yeah, wait, man.
Thank you. Hello, Bev in San Francisco. Do you have any cobras? And are there venomous snakes like black mambas? Yes and yes, Bev. Yes and yes. I'll tell you as soon as I come past this vehicle. Hello. How's she? Hi, Emma.
Welcome back.
Thanks, but hi everyone. Having fun?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Thanks, all.
See you later.
Bye. Have fun.